Greetings and welcome to Chant Day. We are here today on the 24th, and the word today, I'm going to start with that because it's very powerful for me. Forgiveness. And it speaks, I forgive myself first, so I may then forgive others. So the word today is forgiveness. Forgiveness. And in that word today, we go into the psalm, and the psalm is 64, that's titled, Hide I from the Wicked. And it's a psalm of David. So let's begin with forgiveness. Forgiveness. So bless, I ask that the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart is acceptable in the sight of the Most High. It is actually 4 a.m. So I may look like my eyes are because it's early and I'm just waking up. So here we go with forgiveness. And this is from dailyword.com. If you have those little booklets, the daily word, you see today for the 24th on Monday, it is forgiveness. So it speaks, when I am hurt, it can be, being hurt can be a tempting excuse to lash out. It can be a tempting excuse to lash out at the ones I may deem that I hold responsible for my pain. So when you're hurt, you can be tempted to lash out at the ones closest to you or the ones that you hold responsible for your pain. And it speaks, I might feel that's fair and unjust, but I also know punishing someone who hurt me only serves to add more anger and sadness to an already wounded world. And if you've been following my channel, you know I've been hurt. The person who I thought was my person met someone else. So I'm welcoming this word forgiveness because it speaks of I can let the cycle of anger and hurt stop with me and choose to meet hurt with healing. So healing is where I am going to meet the hurt. Healing. When I do, forgiveness comes more easily. So practicing self-care. If you follow my channel, you see beautiful pictures of the bay when I go to the bay and heal, go in the water and swim, exercise, and rejuvenate early in the rise. And practicing that self-care, I do what I can to accept and forgive myself. Freed from self-condemnation, it becomes easier to see the pain in someone who hurt me. Yep. I envision their hurt easing and their life filled with bliss, knowing each healed heart sends healing to the world. So, as I heal, my son passed, that I found out in 2023, the previous year, and then now 2024, the loss of my partner. Still alive. I'm glad that they're still alive. And I always send healing and bless their way. The word and And that's important because I envision anybody's hurt to be easing, and everybody's life filled with bliss, knowing each healed heart sends healing to the world. So, and that comes from practicing self-care. And I do what I can to accept and forgive myself. I am partly responsible, and it's not just the other person, it's also myself. So, 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 9 speaks volumes. And it speaks, do not repay evil for evil or abuse for abuse, but on the contrary, or on the other hand, repay with a bless, because a bless is for what you were called. In other words, you were called to be a bless, so you need to give that bless. Even though you're hurt and somebody hurt you, you don't want to repay and hurt them back. It, because you are going to inherit a bless. A bless. This is from 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 9. And that is important in forgiveness. Part of forgiveness is releasing, let go, and let righteousness flourish. Let perfect love embody you, and your heart is healed and you're healing to the world. So as we get into the Psalm 64, oh my goodness, it's early here. Ooh, hide I from the wicked. Hide I from the wicked. And as I go live on this YouTube, I really, Psalm 64 is very important, because there's a lot of nefariousness out there in YouTube land. And my channel, when it goes live, you can see anyone's channel that's live and public. So I just, even though I don't get any views or no one, I'm glad, because it's like, hide me from the wicked. So they don't see this. So in verse 1, it speaks of listen to I voice, righteousness. Excuse me, righteousness has a complaint. There's a complaint. Listen to I voice, or righteousness, in I complaint. So David has a complaint. We have complaints. There's so many things we complain about, and that, we wish we had, and that we don't have, and, we just never satisfy. So, David has a complaint, and David is speaking of preserve I life from the enemy. Okay. The enemy is against love and kindness and mercy. Excuse me, and compassion and love. The enemy is against all those things. So, and the enemy is about destroying. So David is like, keep my life preserved. And then verse 2, it gets specific. Hide I from the secret plots of the wicked, from the throng of evildoers. So these plots are secret, as verse 2 speaks of, and their secret plots of the wicked. And the wicked is the enemy, and it's a throng. A throng is a gathering. It's like a throng of evildoers. And it gets even specific in verse 3 what they're doing. They're whetting their tongues as swords, and they aiming bitter words as arrows. So they're using the word in a down pressing way. And verse 4 speaks, they're shooting from ambush at the blameless. Shooting at the blameless suddenly and without fear. So we see violence. So it starts with verse 2. David is asking to be hidden from this. And what is this? It's spoken of in verse 3 and verse 4. We have swords, we have shooting. It's, not good. Verse 5 is even worse, because the wicked is holding fast to their evil purpose. They're not changing to do good. They're holding fast to doing wrongness. And they talk of laying snares secretly. So we see secret again. We saw secret in verse 2. Secret plots of the wicked. Now we're seeing snares secretly hidden from, that the wicked is, and they're thinking, who can see them? Okay, this is what their thoughts are in verse 5. Verse 6, the wicked is searching out, the wicked is searching out injustice, speaking that they have accomplished a diligent search. Their inward mind and heart of are deep, are very deep. And verse 7, 8 and 9 speaks of the righteousness of this omnipresence. That's a powerful shield and buckler, redeemer, compassionate, love and kindness and merciful one. In verse 7, that is what shoots at the wicked. Love, kindness, mercy, all of that, compassion. That is what shoots that's what the arrow is of the righteous. And it's shooting at the wicked, and the wicked are wounded suddenly. It's not, the wicked is not wounded from their own, from you doing something wicked to them. No. They're wounded from love and kindness and mercy that is of the Most High, that's that omnipresent. That was in the beginning, that came upon the earth when the earth was void and nothingness. So we see in verse 8 that the wicked is brought to ruin because of that righteousness and mercy and love and kindness. And it's partly that, but it's also with their own tongues turned against them. Like, it's what they are speaking of is going to happen to them. What they want in their secret plots, wickedness that they're plotting against someone, is going to come upon themselves. Basically. And all that see them are going to just wag their heads and be like, So you leave the wicked alone. You just leave it. Leave it to the omnipresent one of righteousness. So in verse 9, all of mankind fares after seeing now what is going to happen and the ruin that is going to happen with people's own tongues on themselves when they talk about other folks. It's coming on their own selves. So, and then, you know, all of that has happened, what righteousness has brought about, and ponder what has been done. Okay, all mankind fares. And they're going to talk about what righteousness has brought about. And they're going to ponder about it and what righteousness has done. And in verse 10, it basically speaks of that righteousness and mercy and love. Let the righteous one rejoice in righteousness and take safety in that righteousness. Let all the upright in heart exalt. Selah and Selah again. That's the end of the psalm today. And we began with listen to the voice of righteousness. This is where you give your complaint to. So this 10 verses of Psalm 64 is beautiful. We got the word today. Forgiveness. I love that. And I wanted to look at the verse. I don't know if it's going to be on here. Yep. 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 3. The Lord is faithful, and the Lord will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. So, who is the Lord? The Lord is righteousness, mercy, and love, and kindness. So that is what is faithful. That is going to be ever present. And that is going to protect you from the evil one. Right? As we see in the Psalm today, 64, hide me from the wicked. And who is the wicked? The wicked is the evil one. Evildoers is a throng of them. Okay, in verse 2, Psalm 64, verse 2, hide me from the secret plots of the wicked, from the throng of evildoers. And 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 3 talks about protecting and strengthening from this evil one. So that's out there. That is out there. And that evil one doesn't like to see love, doesn't like to see people loving each other. That evil one always wants a strife and a quarrel between loved ones. That's why you see families are fighting each other. There's disagreements and quarrels and all that, because that's what the evil one wants. The evil one wants, families to be in this one not talking to this one and this one. All kinds of just foolishness that's so illusionary in the bigger picture. So when you see arguments and strife happening and dissension and divisive and tugging and pulling, instead of one's just letting go and being humble with each other, that's the evil one is in the midst, unfortunately. So that's why I want calm, I want tranquility, I want love and kindness, and I want that around my space. I want cleanliness. I don't want dirtiness. Even if I'm in a tiny space, I want it to be clean. If I'm in a big mansion, I want it to be clean. The same thing. So how can you be given something more if you're not taking care of something less? And that's what we have to realize. And that's what we have to strive to be about, cleanliness, goodness, mercy, love, kindness, and humbleness. And we have to forgive ourselves first. So that we may forgive others. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. That is so important. Forgiveness. And I love that that's the psalm, that's the word today, forgiveness. And the psalm today, 64, hide I from the wicked. And the verse today, that righteousness is faithful and righteousness is what's going to strengthen you. This is what strengthens David when he's asking for, to be hidden from the wicked. What is hiding him from the wicked, what is giving him strength is righteousness, is mercy and love. Because in verse 10, it speaks of the righteous one. Okay? It speaks of the righteous one. So the righteous one is going to rejoice and be happy, and is going to take safety in that righteous place, that good place. So let all the upright in their heart exalt. So we give thanks for this psalm today, chant the psalm today, and as we outro, everyone have a blessed day, and remember to chant the psalm a day. Chant the psalm a day. Thank you to Steel Pulse. This is Steel Pulse. I don't own the copyright. Steel Pulse.